had anybody have been there, it would have been touched.
Back to the centre of the ground, and the Saints playing particularly well since quarter time. There's Hassel on the left foot, kicking it right out towards half-forward flank, but the mark, an easy mark, is taken by Wayne Shand. He breaks away and on the left foot kicks it towards centre half-forward. All the two Richmond players wait for that one. That was bad play. There's Hassel again trying to get the kick in, but it's in the centre of the ground. On the bottom of that pack there for the Richmond side was Manton. The hand pass from Booth comes out wide, and the pass comes further afield looking for Michael Roberts. It's on half-forward flank. Through comes Muggerman, keeps it in play. Probably should have forced it out, but he goes in after it again. Great play by Muggerman. Gets the kick in, and it's a beautiful pass up towards half-forward. That was a great pass to Ross, and Ross on the right foot up. Well, there has the ball smothered, in fact, which was not good play. Coming away with the ball is Booth. He hooks it back towards centre wing. Over the back is Matthew Wall. He grabs it all, cops it hard, but he bounces off beautifully, and a lovely hand pass finds his teammate there in Manton. The ball finally is kicked right down towards the full forward area. It was a long kick, punched away by Mark Keller, who's starting to get on top of Brewer, and through for one behind.
I didn't see who kicked that point, mainly because there was some man attacking Sandys.
I couldn't believe who it was.
Lewis.
Lou Richards. Lou the Lip, who's gone for North Melbourne, is it? Yes, North Melbourne today to defeat Essendon. It'll be interesting to see how correct he is. Back in towards the centre. Lockman through strongly for Richmond. Without the football, St Kilda the opportunity now through Marsden. Fiddler. Up again. Shoots to goal. Scott sees it go over for 1 point. So the Saints doing the bulk of the attacking, and as Don said, have done since quarter time. 10-8 to 7-7. McAvoy to the outer side of BFL Park. Satori was the flyer, brought down to Shan, who's one of Richmond's most prolific kick winners. Smith casually across to Nettlefold. Scott, where is he? There he is. Oh. Roberts won't have the distance. Meehan chasing a valiant attempt to mark, but he went flying parallel with the ground and over the bounce.
It was a good effort, wasn't it?
That was a hamstring stretcher, that one. A real hamstring stretcher as he went to that boundary line. A great effort, as you said.
The sort Shimmer won't like in the opening minute of the game.
I don't think he'd be stretching too far. There's Scott trying to get it down to the ground. Here's a chance for Jelly as he gets it back to Park. Park fires at the goals, won't make the distance. An easy mark taken down there by Noel Muggerman. And it's a good effort by Muggerman to even be playing football. He copped a very serious injury earlier in the year, and it was in hospital for a while as McAvoy grabs it on half-back flank. Philip McAvoy kicks it right out wide towards centre wing. The mark is taken out there by Ross. Ross with a beautiful hand pass, a high one, looking up there towards his teammate there in Winton. He knocks it on further and chases it up on the left foot, up towards full forward. Players set themselves a clever mark. A very clever mark by Ross Brewer in front of Mark Kellett.
Yes, it was a good mark. He used his body. And Mark just is not getting in front. One player that I'm impressed with, Peter, who delivered the ball down there, is Brian Whitten. I think that player has a big future in football. He's a big lad.
Well, I agree with you. Not a bad mover, Don, either, Winton.
Exactly.
He looks a big, solid fella around the hips, but, boy, he's got a little bit more flexibility than you'd think.
Yes, that's right.
Well, there's Kellett coming a long way out from fullback. He's actually on half-back flank at the moment and kicks. That's the way to play VFL Park, straight down the centre of the ground. But unfortunately for him, Darryl Sutton was in front of his opponent there in Malcolm Smith. And Sutton will take the free kick in the centre of the ground. Gives it across to Shand with a hand pass. Shand on the left foot is looking up there for Brewer. Now, on that occasion, he waited. In goes Ross, who's very hard after that ball. The St Kilda player after him there is Parker. Back it comes to Matt Wall. There's a hand pass coming back from Kellett. Further hand pass back to Roberts. Michael Roberts hooks it towards Folletic, but chipping in with Mildenhall. Mildenhall gives it back to Paul Tomei, I should say. Out wide he goes towards Fiddler. Now Fiddler will go for the hand pass, the further one to Tomei. Great play by Tomei coming down the ground. He's 45 metres out from goal and centres the ball up to the goal square, and it could be a mark. And that was beautiful football by the Saints, and the mark is taken up there by Simon Meehan.
This play, the passage of play before that, is just a team full of confidence. The way they're handballing it, long distances over Richmond players' heads and running with the ball, and it's a sign of a team that's playing with full of confidence.
Straight for For goal goes Simon Meehan and makes no mistake. The Saints go further ahead.
Get the door, get the door. He's here. I can't believe it. Oh, why did you leave me?
Later, my dear.
There's one TV that produces skin tones like this, and one TV that reproduces natural color like this. Philips Natural Color Skin Tone. Philips, we want you to have the best.
Simon Meehan takes St Kilda to 11-8-74, a 4-goal lead over Richmond, who are 7-8-50. Shand. Beautiful looking kick to centre wing, finding this racehorse Satori. Off he goes with 2 bounces. Some good shepherding. We'll see him have another one. He's had 3. Flicks the left footer now in towards the half-forward region, but a very good mark. We'll see St Kilda out of trouble. Roberts, the receiver, he's picked up plenty of touches today. Across to Mildenhall he goes. Nettlefold it was. Nettlefold goes further downfield, and it's all St Kilda now. As Don said, they're running on confidence. Here comes the kick out towards Scott, who used the body, tried to prop it forward. Smith is there for Richmond, gets the handball back to Sutton. Sutton going right across the face of goal. Feletic plucks it with one hand. If he can get away, he's in business here. Milan sets up the handball. Here's another one to Tomei. If he kicks straight, he does. And St Kilda move further ahead. The Saints go to 12-8-80, leading Richmond 7-8-50.
Well, again, you see Milan Feletic. I've mentioned him earlier about his class, and you can see it here. Just the time that he's gotten, he can seem to do what he wants to with the ball. He just steadied up and gave it to Tomei. And I mentioned before they're just playing with I suppose the word would be with a degree of arrogance.
But that's that sort of play. Probably you wouldn't get away with it in the seniors, would you, Don? You know, that casual approach is probably why you can't hold a place in the senior side.
Yes, that could be right, Peter. And also, he is a good player, and he's got a lot of time to do with what he wants to do in the reserves.
Well, the ball is back in the centre. You can see the score there. 5 goals the difference, and a tremendous transformation since quarter time. The Saints getting right on top. There's a hurry kick coming down towards Smith, knocked away by Mead. Going in after it is Tempney. Mildenhall goes in hard, gets caught with the ball. Oh, that was a bit hard on him, I thought. The umpire will make Tempney go back and kick over his mark. He is a long kick normally, but this time he gives it with a hand pass across to Mead. Mead kicks towards half forward, and the mark is taken down there by Poole, who has discarded his long sleeves and hasn't been the dominant player today as he was in the last match we saw him. Up towards full forward, and Khaled is starting to do a very good job at fullback, Don, starting to get on top of Brewer.
Well, I hate to disagree, but I do disagree again. I think he's only been in front once, Peter, and
well,
he's
I'm
still
talking
playing
about,
from
well,
behind.
see, Brewer kicked 3 goals in the first quarter.
Yes.
Well, since then,
But Richmond are also dominating the game in that time, and it really
I agree with
delivered
that,
the
but I
ball.
think Callis playing a better defensive game. Well, we're not going to agree anyway. So up towards centre wing it goes, and Smith takes the mark. Smith on centre wing gets it back out wider towards his teammate in Park. Park will swing onto the left foot and hook it back towards the centre of the ground where Mildenhall's waiting for it. Takes the mark, breaks away and goes wide, looking for Scott. Clever use of the body by Scott. Very, very clever. Now he plays on. He's got 3 men to kick it to, and he elects to... dropping the ball was Milan Feletic, and that was a bad miss. Well, that would have been a certain goal from there, I'd say, and he just took it a little bit casually and dropped it.
There's the bounce. 30 metres out from goal. Can they make amends? Michael Roberts probably will. He shoots and goal. Michael's second, and Milan Feletic could thank him very much indeed.
It was classical play, actually. Mark Scott, the hit out straight to, I think it was Jelly, and Jelly a handball to Roberts, and it was just classical football.
Well, the Saints, after trailing by some 3 goals early in the match, in fact it was more than that, have now gone to a 6-goal break.
Actually, that player on camera there, Manton, one of the interesting things I've found coming to the statewide Cups games this year is to see how players progress. And I remember that fellow playing earlier on in the year. He played in a position. They've now started to play him in the ruck, and he has really improved. And this is the greatest thing that I've received for commentating these statewide Cup games, to see players improve.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. He has improved a heck of a lot. There's Poole kicking towards full forward, and the player who I said is getting on top is Callett, was grabbed high there, and that's a free kick. Now, he was in front there, Don. Did you see that one? And there he goes. Look at that. Great speed by Kallett, and Brewer is left well behind. He goes down towards centre wing. That's being a little bit facetious there, but I do feel he is getting on top. There's Milan Folletic. He'll certainly still be annoyed about that other one. A hand pass from Hassel out wide to Park, and Park goes towards full forward. Scott in the back. That'll be a free kick. Oh, boy.
Actually, Mark Scott, I've seen two players use their body well. One was Peter Hudson and the other is Mark Scott. And I would say that Mark Scott is the equal to Peter Hudson and probably the best player of using his body, anyone playing football
Well,
today.
I'll tell you what, he was very, very lucky to get away with that one, because that should have been a free kick against him to the full forward, and it was a poor umpiring decision.
He's kicked 4. The drop punt on its way. He has now kicked 5 goals, and St Kilda steaming. 14-8 to Richmond 7-9 in the Statewide Cup qualifying final.
Well, we might have a look at it again in replay. Don, you can give your opinion.
No, well, I just think it was a matter of the other player propped just at the crucial time, and
by the way, Scott, Don, for your information, has had 12 kicks. He's taken 9 marks and has kicked 5 goals, 1. So that's a great effort, up at full forward.
Centre bounce once again. No doubt he'll be one of the contenders for the $100 that Don Scott will be giving away at the end of the game. Pushed down towards St Kilda's half-forward line once again, and the Saints doing absolutely all the attacking. Now, where's Scott this time? In front, but it's fisted straight down to Folletic. Goes with a little chip, and the bounce will go through for another one. It was good. Intelligent play then by Milan Folletic. Was waiting down in front of Scott. It was fisted down by McAvoy, and he made no mistake. Folletic kicks his second. St Kilda kicked their 15th.
this is the best game I've seen from a full forward for a long, long time. You mentioned Mark Scott's statistics before. I would say he's given one other away with that hand pass that you mentioned. He's also set up a number of goals which have been missed-kicked, and there was another goal to Mark Scott. So I would say at the moment that he is developing into the best player on the ground for the amount of possessions that he's had.
Well, I'm delighted, Don, that you're recognising a full forward. I think that's tremendous. As the ball comes down to Milan Folletic, and now since he dropped that mark, he seems to have lifted his play a little bit too, and he kicks out wide towards Scott. Now I can see your point there, because that's great play by Scott, coming right up the ground, gives a hand pass to Park. Park on the left foot is bundled over the line as he kicked that, and consequently he kicked it over the line and out of bounds on the full. Wayne Shan will come across the face of goal with this. Oh, that's dangerous. I think it is very dangerous. Fiddler will grab it. Goes behind him, and that could be a free kick to Fiddler. He was pushed in the back. Good umpiring decision there. Jeff Fiddler would be 45 metres out from goal, directly in front, and being a back man, it could go anywhere, but it's not a bad kick. This might bounce through. It is through. It's a great kick for goal. Another one for the Saints, this time kicked by Fiddler.
More space! More rear seat legroom than any other Japanese 2-litre sedan in its class. Bluebird! GL, GX, LX, TRX. More space! Bluebird gives more fun!
Welcome back to VFL Park, where St Kilda are going absolutely berserk. Really on the rampage. They've kicked 7 goals in 16 minutes. Richmond have gone into attack for one of the rare occasions in this quarter, and it'll be Trevor Poole in a forward pocket that will shoot it up in towards full forward, ignoring all leads at the moment. He goes back. Looks as though he's going to go as long as he can. The Tigers in all sorts of trouble. The kick from Poole, a pretty good one right into the square, but just touched and through for 1 point. So they go to 7-10. They began the quarter at 7-6. So they've kicked 4 points, while St Kilda have kicked 7 goals, 1.
There's Paul Tomei with a hand pass out to Mildenhall on half-back flank, over to Roberts. They're playing great team football at the moment. Oh, beautiful balk, and a left foot pass right up towards half-forward, and a great pass, and the mark is taken by Malcolm Smith. Now they should get it down quickly. Oh, it's a shocking kick, but we're just waiting for it. Slipping over was McAvoy, and I'm absolutely amazed that they haven't put Daryl Sutton to full back on Scott. Well, Mark Scott has kicked 5. He is a great kicker of a football. He is only 25 metres out directly in front. Let's see what he can do with this one. He stabs at it. No doubt the goal umpire didn't move. It went straight over his head. 6 goals to Scott. And the Saints are well on top of Richmond at this stage. They've moved on to 17-8, 110 to the Tigers 7-10, 52.
And Scotty loving every minute of it with his Jacko haircut.
Actually, Peter, as a full forward, this is a lesson to all budding full forwards, because this young fellow Marsden is, to put it bluntly, is a shocking kick of the football. And Mark Scott started off from behind his man, but he knew exactly what the player up the field is capable of doing, and he was yards in front.
I concur with that 100%, Don.
And you agree too.
In front. Yes, here's Terry Smith trying his hardest. He hooks it right out wide towards centre wing. Players go after it. Poole is there for Richmond. Also Gary Conning. The ball comes off his hands over the line and out of bounds. And I don't envy Trevor Poole playing on Colling, because Colling is a very close, hard checking backman.
Well, Jack Clark may not have been too happy in the first term, but I'm sure he's very pleased with his charges since that time. Booth had front spot, couldn't get it effectively away, and Brown sees it over the line for another throw-in. Crowd really starting to build now for the big one this afternoon. Essendon and North Melbourne. There's a good shot. Booth. Hassel. Caught, but he's moves a little like Milan Folletic. Looks as though he's got a day to do something in, and sometimes has. Shand.
Well, I can't see how they can pay that a free kick and let Scott get away with his up at full forward. That's exactly the same situation. You'll have a look at this one, Don. No, well, we're not seeing it again, but there's coming away with the ball there is Simon Meehan on half forward. Down towards Scott again. Could have been a free kick to him. Grabbed by Sutton. Can't get the kick. And now it's Malcolm Smith on the left foot. Not too good at that either. Michael Roberts get ridden into the ground, but the umpire said on this occasion it was holding the ball. Maybe Michael was starting out on his acting career there, as Lockman takes the kick on half-back flank.
Well, he certainly didn't concur with the decision. Lockman runs the triangle. Now here's a chance for Smith. As the sun starts shining brightly, we're copping all seasons here at VFL Park today. Let's hope it is fine for the big one. The ball drifted in towards the centre.
Well done.
Shand caught a good tackle. Nettlefold. St Kilda running on super confidence at the moment, as Michael has 2 bounces through half forward. He get goal from here. He won't. Scott will probably take the mark. No, Smith takes a good one at the back of the pack.
Well, believe it or not, I really think he should have kicked that football earlier, because Scott was one out calling for the ball and he just went a little bit too far. But if he had have kicked the goal, of course, it would have been magnificent football. But if he could have just got that down quickly, Scott could have had another goal on the board.
Tempany in the back pocket.
I'm just wondering anyway if Mark Scott is any relation to Don Scott, the raps he's giving him today, Sandy.
Well, we'll have to wait until the end of the fourth and final term to have any indication on that. Frankie Bain in trouble. Meehan. Scott now coming out to meet it. Tried to take it on the chest on that occasion. Was thumped away by McAvoy, and the umpires plucked out a free kick. The player on the bottom of the pack was Lockman. Gives it to Wall, who's in trouble. This is danger as Roberts has possession now. Gets away. He's onto the left foot, but it's well smothered. Pushed in towards the pocket. Tempany will sock it towards the boundary line, and safety.
Well, Bruce Tempany quite happy to see that one go over the line now to bounds. They're in tremendous trouble, the Tigers. In fact, Kevin, how many goals since they were on 7 goals, and since then they were 7 goals to St Kilda's 4, and St Kilda have moved on to 17, so they've kicked 13 goals and Richmond haven't scored a goal. So that's an amazing display by St Kilda. 16-minute mark of the second quarter. That's was that period we were talking about. Thank you, Kevin.
King of the stats. I don't know whether it's Kevin or Peter. Folletic trying to come over the top. Shand in trouble to Sutton. Long looking for Poole, who was looking in turn for a free kick. It didn't come his way. Cleverly tapped backwards. Sarah is there for Richmond. Unable to pick the football up, however. He's still burrowing in there like a little rabbit. The ball is held to him and will have a bounce. 110 plays 52, favouring St Kilda, who at this stage will certainly qualify. Don't forget our other big statewide cup commitment, as a high tackle is put on there. Our other big statewide cup commitment taking place tomorrow afternoon, immediately following World of Sport. And we sincerely hope that Don will be able to make it in time for that one at the Lakeside Oval.
Daryl Sutton thought he was riding a horse there, I think, as the kick comes right out from Folletic towards half-forward. Oh, Scott, now that was clever use of the body that time as he tried to punch it back, but taking away is Shand, who's played 2 great games in a row now, as he gives it across to Tempany on half-back flank, and Tempany kicks it long, right up towards half-forward. Players set themselves. Colin couldn't take the mark. Going in after it is the big bloke for Richmond in Winton. Gets it back towards the forward pocket. Callett using his strength against Brewer. In goes Brewer. They're coming away with the ball for the Saints was Parker. Back towards half-back. The kick by was Parker again, or Marsden was it? I think it was Marsden getting it back towards half-back. A hand pass comes out wide to Folletic. Folletic has got a paddock to run in. He swings onto the left foot. Why didn't kick it on the right, I don't know. Now he does, and goes up looking for Scott, who's made a beautiful lead, and Scott has led out to that half-forward flank in front of McAvoy. Could be a little bit too far out into the slight breeze. He's already kicked 6. He's looking for someone to move, and no one's leading at the moment. Now he is. A beautiful pass up to Smith. Can't take the mark. In goes Sartori. Has it smothered. Mugovan overruns it. But Shand backing up beautifully once again. And Roberts goes down behind the play. Michael Roberts. Over it goes to Frankie Bain. On the left foot, he kicks out wide, looking for young Ross. Up on that half-forward line. It comes off his hands, over the line, and out of bounds. What happened there, Don?
Well, there was Michael Roberts ran into a shepherd. Fell behind play. Probably see it there. We just caught it.
Like his teammate. Half forward, ball over the back to the St Kilda player there in Marsden. Hand pass out wide, looking there for Tomei. Frankie Bain is caught with the ball. Play on, said the umpire, and now the umpire will say that Frankie Bain was held onto after he got rid of the ball. Goes for the hand pass as usual. Across to Tempany. Tempany's a great kick of a football up towards full forward. The big fly, and that was almost a mark to Poole, but Callett punches it through for 1 behind. So the Saints still well in control of this match. They're on 17-8, 110. The Tigers on 7-11-53.
And with 26 minutes gone in this third term, Richmond are still goalless for the quarter. Colling leading his side to what appears to be a certain victory. Here they go, running it through Tomei across to Meehan, getting the handball now towards Folletic, and Milan gets a bad bounce, but he does have backup support. Meehan can wait for the next one to come out. It goes the other way, however. Jelly. Park. A casual bounce. Folletic could have gone to do the shepherding work, but tried to make some space. In towards the pocket it goes. No mark taken there by Fiddler. And the free kick will go the way of Richmond, and it'll be taken by Georgie Brown. An atrocious kick from George. And did it go over the line? Touch and go. The boundary umpire said it did.
Well, that's all that matters, Sandy.
Quite
I
right,
too
Peter.
much about it.
No, there's no point worrying. Tempany. Sutton. And they're doing what St Kilda did in the first term, out to Shand, and they've gained absolutely no distance whatsoever. It's better over the centre. Looking for Poole. It didn't come his way, however. The opportunity was there for Mead to go up towards the half-forward line. Booth waits at the back. Douglas kicks towards the centre of the ground, where Michael Roberts has recovered after that heavy shepherding knock. Out towards Jelly, and he takes it on the chest. Had Folletic running, but now elects to go back, kick in towards the centre, and find Alan Hassel, who lopes away. Hassel. Scott uses the body again. Georgie Brown gets caught, but not before he gets the handball away. Towards Bain. Franklin hasn't stopped trying. Centre wing, and the mark, I thought it was dropped.
Yeah, I think he did, but the umpire was out of position there. I couldn't see whether he marked that or not.
Well, let's have a look in replay. There it goes.
Yes.
Dropped by dear old Noel. But nevertheless, he was given the benefit of the doubt, and And as Peter McKenna just said only minutes ago, you never question the umpire. Towards full forward, Scott comes out to meet the ball. Sutton is there for Richmond. Eventually farms it out towards Tempany. He's in a spot of bother. In fact, it was Smith. Folletic pouncing on top of him. Now back towards Roberts in the centre. And Michael shrugs the tackle. Away he goes with the left foot in towards Scott at full forward. Fiddler waiting at the back, but the ball drifting the other way and going over the line in the left forward pocket.
Actually, there's tremendous endeavour now by the St Kilda forwards. Milan Folletic instance there, who dived and tackled, and Fiddler before smothered. You mentioned about George Brown's atrocious kicker was Fiddler's smother. And that is just typical of the St Kilda play at the moment.
OK, Don, three-quarter time scores see St Kilda well in command of the situation. 17-8, 110, leading Richmond 7-11, 53.
How do you do it? You work all week, yet everything's so shiny.
A little man helps me.
Oh, I'd help. We are doing well.
Mr. Sheen for a quick clean. Off comes the dirt, up comes the shine.
Does he take long?
No, he whips around the house in minutes.
But look at that shine. Maybe I should meet this little man of yours.
Clean, dust and polish in a flash with Mr. Sheen.
Chicken Plus is on now at Kentucky Fried Chicken, in a size to fit you. Get 10 pieces of Kentucky Fried Chicken, plus salad, plus potato and gravy for only $7.65. Or get 3 pieces plus salad, plus potato and gravy, only $2.65. Chicken Plus, in your size at Kentucky Fried Chicken now. 10 pieces plus salad, plus potato and gravy, $7.65. 3 pieces plus salad, plus potato and gravy, $2.65.
We do chicken right.
Take a rock trip. 18 original hits on Rock Trip 82. Simple Minds, Adam Ant, Swanee, ABC's Poison Arrow. Prince, Cold Chisels Forever Now. Charlene, The Waitresses. Tommy Two-Tone and Mondo Rocks No Time. 18 original hits on Rock Trip 82. Take a rock trip.
Every tyre at T-Mart's is in great shape for the wet weather.
That's right. It wouldn't do to lose your grip in these conditions.
That's why T-Mart's keep all of us top brands.
Yes, but with T-Mart's prices, you'd think we'd come from Skid Row.
That's right. I'm a Computer Cat steel radial for $52.90, fitted and guaranteed. Commodore owners will be laughing, but I'm not.
T-Mart's, where even the tyres can't believe the low prices.
From the best-selling author of Serpico and the Valachi Papers comes a saga of the lusty, violent, love-filled gypsy life. Sterling Hayden, Shelley Winters, Judd Hirsch, Eric Roberts, Susan Sarandon, and pretty baby Brooke Shields star in the Dino De Laurentiis presentation of King of the Gypsies, premiering Sunday, 8:30.
Three-quarter time score here at VFL Park sees St Kilda 17-8, 110. Richmond a 7-11, 53. St Kilda in that term kicked 8 goals, 1, while Richmond, in a very sad state of affairs, could manage only 5 points. And really, Don, the players that they did have certainly dropped well and truly out of the game as far as the Tigers are concerned.
Yes, when you look back and you wonder how St Kilda got into the game, and then you look at maybe the handball. I mentioned initially, the stupid use of handball. Yes, I suppose it was stupid, but they were endeavouring to create their play-on game, and eventually it did unfold. And full marks to them, their persistence and their method of play, and that's a compliment to their coach, because the boys are following a certain style of play. They run the ball very well and they handball it excessively, but it is now starting to become intelligent handball. They're playing with a degree of arrogance in the way that they're moving the ball, and Richmond are just not getting in. And also now their confidence is so high that players that weren't chasing, tackling, doing the desperate things earlier on are now doing those things, and it's just absolutely impossible for Richmond to get in at the moment.
Well, when you look through the Richmond side, there's very few players you could find as being top contributors since quarter time, Don. Probably Shand on the half-back line would be about the only one.
Yes, he probably would be, Peter. He's had 16 kicks, and Well,
18.
Well, I suppose the point is that the ball is down there a lot and he's defending desperately.
Yes, and I was very impressed on that quarter with the efforts of Paul Tomei. He's the player wearing, by the way, to the viewers, number 34. That's John Bennett's number, in fact. But he came down that centre many times, Don, and even followed up after he kicked the ball.
I was impressed. He played a game against Richmond earlier in the year in the seniors, and I was impressed then. He's not a quick running player, but he is a running player. He plays a ruck rover role. Maybe his speed is the thing that may let him down, but he continually runs the whole time, and he did in that particular game, and he is again today.
And their little players, Meehan and Jelly, how do you think they're performing?
Well, it's good to see Graham Jelly. He's an exponent of the handball. He's a really good player, and he's just starting to come into the game now, and a lot of St Kilda players are starting to come in because they are being brought into the game by the use of handball.
And you played at Hawthorn with a great full forward in Peter Hudson. You mentioned Scott. Now, what difference does it make if you have got someone who is creating movement on the forward line and someone who is a figurehead you can kick the ball to?
Well, as long as you're playing in front of, initially I'm a great believer in percentages, and if the player is moving, especially the full forward, moving right up the ground, getting in front, maintaining possession of the ball and kicking the ball down, well, that all goes well as far as the team is concerned. But it becomes a cancer once the full forward remains stationary and starts to push and shove. And, you know, the players up the ground become a little bit despondent. They wonder what they've got to do, but it's exhilarating, lifting stuff to see players, especially full forwards, moving up the ground and setting off the plays of further up the field.
What would you be saying there to that Richmond side if you're in Michael Green's shoes right now when you're at 10 goals behind at three-quarter time?
Well, I think the only thing you could really say is the fact that there's going to be about 50,000, probably the biggest crowd, if not more, that they're playing beside. And the only thing they can really do now is just not let the jumper down and surrender meekly. And, you know, they can only bring credit to themselves if they fight it out. But the way they've been going so far, and if they continue in the same vein, well, they're only going to bring disgrace to their club colours.
Speaking of jumpers, if you are coming down to VFL Park, as you can see, as already thousands have, I would pop in a jumper because it is a little fresh, Don, isn't it, really?
Yes, on one or two Spencers too, Sandy.
2 pairs of socks. Oh. If your feet are warm, you're warm.
This man is the purveyor of useless information, isn't he?
I fully concur.
What, that you're warm if you've got 2 pairs of socks on, or?
I think I agree with Don, actually. But I would suggest that, though, because it is reasonably fresh. And, of course, bring a brolly, too, just to be on the safe side. Well, scene just about set now to commence the final term. As Don said, Richmond have got to try and show this huge crowd that they can wear the jumper proudly. And let's see what they can do too. Well, they haven't scored a goal since the second term. And in fact, even in that second term, they only kicked 2. So it's been not a very pleasant last 2 quarters.
Would you have preferred, Don, if I had said 2 pair of pantyhose for you?
I think we can forget this now, gentlemen.
Back to the football, Sandy.
Yes, we have stated that it is a little fresh and just bring a jumper. But if you're into socks, then by all means put on more than 1 pair.
Well, who would have thought yesterday we'd have a great game, a great day like this as far as the weather goes. It's amazing. You thought. Well done, Sandy. We'll put you on the weather instead of the main news report. There's Booth trying to get that hit out. Pearson grabs it. Now, maybe we'll see a better effort now by Richmond. That was Templey across the Matt Wall. Wall from 40 metres out, strides away, but he gets caught. That was a tremendous tackle there by Simon Meehan. He breaks away and kicks towards centre wing. There's a mark there. No, not taken by Park. In fact, the hand pass comes out wide. That was good play. That's Malcolm Smith getting it across towards Nettlefold. He kicks up towards full forward. Scott from behind. Doesn't bounce ring. Grabbing it is Darryl Sutton onto the left foot. Back towards the boundary line. It goes over the line and out of bounds. About 40 metres around for the behind post.
Obviously, the Richmond players have listened to their coach, and that run by Wall, although it was ineffective, was definitely a mark of something that hasn't been seen so far.
Folletic's kick after that throw-in goes out of bounds on the full. So McAvoy to bring it back into play.
Well, I'm very surprised that they've left young McAvoy at full-back. I think he's been well beaten there by Scott, and I think would have thought the experience of Daryl Sutton would help out down there.
Meehan goes backwards, but he's set it up here for Tomei. A high ball going in towards the pocket. Scott comes over the top, fists the ball down. A chance for Richmond to clear, however, on this occasion. They will too through Sartori. Sartori going with a long kick, looking for Wall and finding him. Matthew, who just had that long run and got caught, swings round onto the left foot, going in towards the centre. Bain was there, but caught behind, couldn't do anything about it. Here's a chance for Booth, short, and well done, Douglas Booth, finding his teammate there in Graham Jelly. Jelly gold in the second term, looking for Folletic, who could have been held. At least he put on the act as though he was. The umpire had absolutely nothing to do with it, and Richmond are able to bring the ball away.
Michael Lockman on the right foot, right out wide towards half-back flank. Overrunning it was Nettlefold. Here they come again, though, the Saints. There's Tomei getting the hand pass in. Back it comes towards centre-half forward, over to Colling. Colling with a further hand pass out wide. Oh, Michael Roberts gets unloaded there on that half-forward line. Players go in hard after it, and the umpire's picked out a free kick to Billy Mildenhall on half-forward flank against Frankie Bain. And certainly, if a player gets a free kick when Bain's around, he's really got to earn it.
Billy Mildenhall, Peter, for those, he's a top basketball referee too.
Yes, well, you had a keen interest in the basketball for many years, Don, of course. As the ball comes down towards half-back flank, and there he is again, Bill Mildenhall on centre wing.
I think you both did, didn't you? Oh, dear. Mildenhall being brought back. Amazing what they've got in common. There's his kick now up towards full forward. Scott coming in from the side, unable to complete the mark, spooned out. The opportunity for the Tigers to drift the ball back in towards the centre. Colling was there, couldn't complete the mark. Going out with the handball was Glenn Parker in towards the centre. Now it's a chance for Hassel to swing it on towards Jelly, but his handball was well smothered on that occasion. But St Kilda's got so much backup support. Doug Booth receives once again. The big ruckman lopes away, wobbles one in towards full forward. Two Richmond players fly for it, and it will be Smith to come down with the mark.
Terry Smith right out towards the half-back line, and there's Sartori on his own. Certainly won't be too happy with the effort so far, but he finds Shand on half-back flank. Shand's 19th kick of the game. A great effort in a side that is under a lot of pressure down on that back line too. Going in after it now for the Saints is Parker. Breaks away with his mop of red hair on half-forward flank. Kicks it towards centre-half forward. Players set themselves over the back. It's Lockman. Gets his kick in. Out wide looking for Ross. The ball sits for him beautifully. He breaks away and hooks it back. He had no one whatsoever to kick it to then, and Billy Mildenhall charges after the ball. Oh, good play. Knocks it back towards his teammate on centre wing. We'll just wait and see who it is when he picks it up. It's Park, in fact. Left foot, he goes for the short pass, and he's found on half-forward flank, it looks like Graham Jelly. Jelly breaks away on the left foot, up towards half-forward. Michael Roberts got underneath that one, and the mark is taken up there by Michael Lockman.
Lockman, the long handball away, eventually finishing with Smith. Hooks it back towards centre wing. Park is there for St Kilda. He can have a good run here, then go long in towards full forward. Out comes Scott, but intercepting is not Milan Folletic, but Nettlefold. And he has kicked 2 goals, certainly within scoring distance. Slight angle. Michael, who's become pretty well known through World of Sport this year with his handballing ability. Drop punt coming around. Has it come around far enough? The goal umpire says yes, and 3 goals to Nettlefold.
Put less sugar in your life. With Light and Low, you'll never know.
Sunday night in Kingswood Country, Ted decides to dob in Bruno's Uncle Tony to the immigration department. And then the repercussions set in. Kingswood Country, Sunday 7:30, followed by Love Thy Neighbour at 8.
St Kilda moved to 18-8, 116. Richmond a 7-11-53, and we've played 5.5 minutes as Meehan in this final term puts it out to Folletic, and Milan can steam in towards goal. The drop punt's on its way. Goal umpire has a good look and says all clear. St Kilda 19-8, 122. Richmond a disappointing 7-11-53. And Folletic has now kicked 3 goals.
Great play here by Simon Meehan, Don.
Yes, well, St Kilda, as Sandy said, are just steaming ahead now. The game was becoming very uninteresting. For 5 minutes, the ball was just going between St Kilda's half-forward line or Richmond's half-back line and the centre of the ground. And now a couple of goals have been scored, and at least it's an interesting spectacle once again.
Well, I think that's delightful when you see a rover come out of the centre. Instead of just blazing away anywhere, he used his brain, saw Folletic on his own, just a little chip shot about 15 metres, and then a certain goal instead of a maybe goal.
Richmond now the chance to go up towards their half-forward line. Can they do something about this onslaught of goals? Ross is there. In fact, it's Michael Loritz, I think, who's come onto the ground. Is it Loritz? We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Hasn't kicked a goal, of course. In fact, Richmond has not kicked a goal since midway during the second term. In fact, Kevin is giving me the exact time now. 16 minutes and 4 seconds into the second quarter. Thank you, Kevin O'Neill, our statistician. Let's see if amends can be made here. Loritz. Drop punt on its way. And at last, the drought has been broken for Richmond. Loritz kicks his first and Richmond's 8. They move to 8-11-59, trailing St Kilda 19-8, 122.
Just looking through the record, then we'll see Michael Loritz take a mark here, but just an interesting note that a lot of the area up around the Murray area, Wentworth, Swan Hill, where Michael Loritz comes from, has been a very profitable area as far as football talent, especially in this reserve grade side for Richmond.
Brown waiting to come onto the ground, no doubt to get back in the ruck fray once again as the Tigers drift it down towards their half-forward line. Now Matty Wall, if it sits, he could be in business. He's too slow. No, now he gets it away. Muggerman under some pressure, tried to get his handball out, but it was well smothered on that occasion by Alan Hassel, and the pack very quick to develop on Richmond's half-forward line.
And the St Kilda defence has been well on top for 2 quarters now, and continuing on in this quarter. Richmond badly need a bit of drive up forward. Here they come again. Here's one of them, Hassel, the centre half-back. Not too good on the left foot, though, as he gets it out, and it's Ross of Richmond who grabs it and kicks it towards goals, and he's put that one through the centre. A great goal kicked by Ross.
Well, as you mentioned, Peter, it wasn't a great kick by Hassel, and for young footballers, if you get the ball, you must do something with it, especially on the back line. You can see here, it was just a slap-happy kick, and it allowed, especially if it was a tight finish, you just can't afford to do that type of kick.
Neil Park has left the ground for St Kilda, and Peter Brown has come on. Almost 9 minutes gone. Final term, St Kilda lead by just under 10 goals.
But it's amazing, Don, how many players these days can kick beautifully on both feet. Probably when we first started in football, you know, there was only a handful on each side, but now they nearly all can.
Well, I think that's a good point, Peter, and for players to compare players of yesteryear with those of today, there is just no comparison, because they're just so much better than they were in the past.
Well, there was Nettlefold having a shot at goal, and he's put another one on the board. That's 4 goals to Michael Nettlefold, and a great exhibition around the centre of the ground, and they're just taking away with ease at the moment, the Saints.
Main scorers for St Kilda as we run through them. Mark Scott has kicked 6. Nettlefold has now kicked 4. Milan Folletic has kicked 3. And Tomei and Mike Roberts have each kicked 2. While for Richmond, it's a very different story. Ross Brewer kicked 3 goals, all of those in the first term. Centre bounce. St Kilda qualifying, and of course the elimination final taking place on 7. Immediately following World of Sport tomorrow. That game coming to you from the Lakeside Oval. So if you can't make it to the Lakeside Oval, where admission is free, then we certainly hope that you can join us on Channel 7. As Parker drifting one in towards centre wing, finds his teammate there in Milton Hall.
He won't let him have an easy kick, Frankie Bain, will he?
He's tried all day to half forward. An attempted tap over the back didn't quite work, and instead went over the line and out of bounds. Yes, that game coming away on 7 tomorrow afternoon, immediately following World of Sport. So we've got a big day of sport again on 7, and we certainly hope that you can stay with us.
28, the Saints. Richmond on 9-11. Half-forward flank. So Kilda's forward zone, grabbed by Bain. He gets unloaded as he kicks it down towards centre wing, and a good mark is taken down there for the Saints by number 46, and that is Huntley. Over it goes to Colling, and Colling, here's the one-out duel up towards full forward. Scott goes back, can't take the mark, and the umpire's going to pay a free kick
to Scott.
Oh, boy. Well, let Don Scott comment on that one.
No, I don't think there's not much comment, Peter. I thought the Richmond player had his eye on the ball, Smith, and I thought Mark Scott was a little bit lucky to get that.
Well, I concur with that.
Agree, or?
Well, I thought even it could have been a free kick to the full back in the first place.
Well, Mark Scott has gone back to his old habit, and he's not playing in front as we mentioned earlier, but he's still getting the kicks.
He'll shoot from just 25 metres out, almost directly in front.
Well, that's poetic justice. There's no doubt about that. It was a bad miss, but I don't think it'll make much difference to the result of the game at this stage. As you see, Daryl Sutton about to kick in from full back, and he's got his hand pretty heavily bandaged there. Maybe he's got a wrist. He goes short and finds Paul Serra, who has disappeared from the game after playing particularly well early. He kicks down towards the centre of the ground, a one-out duel. Well, kicked off the ground by the Saints, back towards the half-forward line. Through comes Frankie Bain, gets a hand pass into Tempany, who's been pretty quiet. He can't get the kick in. Then they go again. Number 50 there is Marsden. Michael Roberts gets ridden into the ground. Now Nettlefold gets a hurried kick in to Jelly. Back it comes to Booth. Booth with the hook right back towards full forward. Mark Scott from behind. Appeal a mark, and he nearly had it. Now it's Folletic, or is the umpire paying it? He's paying the mark.
Yes, here it is on replay, and I would play this a mark to Mark Scott because he hit it on the first attempt and pulled it in on the second.
So Scott, after missing one only a minute or so ago, this time is directly in front. 20 metres out. Stabbing away at a drop punt. He goals.
There are lots of stretched jeans around, but ours are up to $10 cheaper than the others. Here's how to tell them apart.
Sunday night in Kingswood Country, Ted decides to rob in Bruno's Uncle Tony to the immigration department. And then the repercussions set in. Kingswood Country, Sunday 7:30, followed by Love Thy Neighbour at 8.
Mark Scott's 7th goal takes St Kilda to 21-9, 135. Richmond a 9-11, 65. Booth, who surprisingly enough has done the bulk of the ruck work after Brown started that first term in such fine battling style. But Booth has certainly acquitted himself pretty well as he does it again. Loses that one as it pushed down for Richmond towards Matthew Wall. He's very quickly tackled, but gets it across to Shan, Richmond's most prolific kick winner. Brown got up approximately 23 minutes too early, gave away the free kick, and Paul will now have a shot for goal.
That's an interesting decision, Sandy. I wonder if had the St Kilda player taken the mark,
whether he would have lost it.
Exactly.
In fact, it's Loritz. Michael Loritz kicked a goal for Richmond earlier on in this term. We've played almost 15 minutes. Loritz a study in concentration as he comes in with a drop punt. And it's all paid dividends. Richmond kick their 10th goal. They move to 10-11, 71, trailing St Kilda 21-9, 135.
Well, we saw Michael Loritz take a very good mark 5 minutes ago and kick a goal from there, and then that one. So he's a big tall boy, Don. Certainly got the build for a forward.
Exactly, Peter. He's got a really good shape for a footballer. He's only 19. He's a bit over 6'3", and as you mentioned, well put together.
Back to the centre, and St Kilda has certainly since quarter time have shown Richmond a clean pair of heels, and that's one of the players in Meehan down towards full forward. Scott ducks back after. Will it bounce for him? Now it does. Oh, he cleverly knocks it back. Oh, in the back. It's a free kick to Fiddler right in front. Clever play by Mark Scott too to tap that one back, and we'll have a look at this one on replay.
Oh. Yes, it was very good play by Mark Scott, and Fiddler was in front, and the umpire had no alternative but just to pay the free kick.
Well, Scotty's certainly having a field day down there in that forward zone, loving every minute of it. As Jeffrey Fiddler, who kicked a goal earlier, shoots now for his second. As you can see, quite an angle, but very, very close to goal. As the goal umpire falls to ground, he's still able to signify 1 point only.
I don't think Fiddler's too happy with that decision either.
Well, it was interesting because the goal umpire slipped.
Well,
let's have a look at this, and perhaps you can make up your own mind at home.
Can't tell.
Very hard to tell, isn't it? Because the ball sort of shoots over the top of the post. Nevertheless, back live. Oh, a great mark taken over the top by Michael Roberts. What are his stats, Kevin? 23 kicks, thank you. There's kick number 23, and what a kick by Michael Roberts. He's put that one straight through the middle for goal number 22 to the Saints.
And Fiddler had something to say to the goal umpire there. He was probably saying something like, was that one through?
Well, a great mark then by Roberts. And he was able to go on and convert.
Amazing. Michael Roberts has always got it like his father. Always seems to have a suntan in the middle of winter.
What are you suggesting, Peter?
I'm not suggesting that they've been under the ray lamp. I think they're naturally olive-skinned and very lucky too. There's the ball off the side of the boot. Back towards half-forward for Richmond. That's Ross giving it across to his teammate Matt Wall. Wall with a long hand pass over to Sarah. Sarah from 20 metres out stabs at the goals, and I think he's missed. Yes, he has. Only a behind. And the Tigers, with that one solitary behind there, have moved on to 10-12. St Kilda 22-10.
Back into play once again. Booth coming a little late on the scene, unable to complete the mark. The Tigers having fallen away very, very badly as Tempany gets it across to Sarah. Dummies, gets round onto the left boot and kicks into an absolute space in the forward line. There was no one there at all. Brewer back to Sarah, taking him right round on the pocket. He was looking for the free kick. Could have just about got it. Loritz. That's better to Ross. High towards full forward. Two St Kilda players. Muggovan gets caught. The ball is held, says the umpire, and a bounce to take place. 18.5 minutes gone. Final term as Noel gets up from the bottom. Crowd really starting to come in. Sun is shining if you're contemplating leaving home as Brewer snaps in towards goal, and it didn't go over the line. Play on was the call. Nettlefold lost it to Wall, who in turn looks for the free kick. It didn't come his way, so Shand goes in to offer assistance. Wayne's kick out of bounds on the full. Yes, sun is shining. Cool but fresh breeze. But conditions very good for what should be a great elimination final. The Bombers trying to break that hoodoo. In 10 years of Final Five football, they haven't been able to win an elimination final, and that was Frankie Bain, of course. Still trying his heart out as Kellett puts a handball in towards the centre. Folletic picks it up, uses that blistering pace to get away and drift it up towards the half-forward line, where the mark is taken by Meehan.
Simon Meehan, who has been one of the best players on the ground, a real little burrower all the time, and I think you'll see him regularly in the senior side next year for sure. That's almost a mark to Scott. Coming away with the ball, though, is Ian Sartori. He hooks it back towards centre wing where Meehan is waiting for it and takes the mark. A good mark to Simon Meehan. And I know a couple of years ago when he came to the St Kilda club, they really... Oh, boy. Now that could... Oh, boy. Oh, what a stupid time of the game for this to happen. The game is well won. Well, the St Kilda players would be stupid if they, well, both sides really, because they've both got to play again next week.
Yes. Well, there are some sorting out going on.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how many reports out of that. I would suggest 1.
Yes, the pads are out at the moment, as you can see there.
Umpires, you wouldn't know who to report. There was too many.
You'd be in trouble if your pencil, the lead in the pencil broke, wouldn't it?
Well, they certainly would, Don, yes.
Fiddler's had his number taken, but that could be as a witness, of course. And
struck E.
Or the struckette.
Oh boy, there was a couple of decent old charges.
My word, there was.
Well, Fiddler's actually got the free kick, so I'd say he's more likely to be a witness, I'd say. So he kicks up towards Folletic. Folletic ducks back. Oh, great mark taken up there by Darryl Sutton. And, of course, he's always been noted for his high marking. There's Shand with about kick number 21. He's been one of Richmond's better players. Down to Muggervan. Muggervan on centre wing breaks away. Well, he's in all sorts of trouble. Back he goes towards Shand, who backed up beautifully. He's a beautiful kick too. Up towards centre wing, and he finds Poole. Trevor Poole has had a pretty quiet day today. Poole over to Muggervan. Muggervan up towards full forward. Laritz from behind gets straight into the back of Mark Kellett. And as I said earlier, Don, Kellett has got right on top of Brewer and taken him right out of the game.
Brown, the receiver. Michael Roberts loses it. Has time to recover, however. To centre wing. Nettlefold was there, unable to complete the mark, but he does have plenty of support. That was Hassel. In towards the pocket area, beating both players over the line and out of bounds for a throw-in.
With the qualifications, Sandy, that do exist for a reserve-grade player to play, it leaves Richmond a bit of a disadvantage. Because last week we mentioned Peter Welsh is playing in the reserves, and obviously he'll be needing match practice if he's going to get back into the seniors. And that is just one thing, that players have got to play a certain number of games. And I think when both teams are in the finals, it doesn't really matter.
Well, Bob Davis on World of Sport last week, of course, didn't agree that Mark Scott should have been allowed to play either, and play 2 games in the 1 week last week to qualify. So that's an interesting point also. There's a hand pass coming back towards Booth. Do you think so, Don? Centre of the ground as the long kick comes right down towards full forward. Oh, Scott's got the drop here. That was always going to be Mark Scott's mark all the way as soon as the long kick came in.
Yes, well, he edged his opponent under the ball and then pushed him away. And I think Mark may have been a little bit of doubt as to whether he did actually give away a free kick.
13 marks to Mark Scott at full forward. Well, you can't do much better than that. Unless, of course, you take 14.
Scott almost directly in front. Drop punts on its way, sailing straight over the goal umpire's head, and he has kicked his 8th goal.
Treat Dad to a Red Rooster family-style Father's Day celebration. With every purchase on Father's Day of 2 or more Red Rooster barbecue chickens or a family feast, we'll give away a free bottle of non-alcoholic Castella Spumante, a full-flavoured sparkling Italian-style wine. So on Father's Day, give Dad the succulent taste of Red Rooster and his free bottle of Castella Spumante.
Happy Father's Day, Dad. Just for you.
Centre bounce, and Kilda about to make another change, giving John Favier another run. Nettlefold up towards the full forward region, but it was Sutton ducking back, getting the handball away. It's a bad bounce for Richmond. Meehan takes it, sets it up again for Jelly. His in turn also was a bad one. Temporarily under a ton of pressure. In fact, it's Terry Smith, the player, one of the players involved in that somewhat large altercation only minutes ago. There's John Favier, just waiting to come on and have a final run. We're almost into time on, and there will be a bit of time on in this term. From the throw-in, Jelly caught. Here they go again. Mildenhall, Scott ducking back. Can he use his pace? Boundary line too close as he and Smith see it over the line for a throw-in in the right forward pocket.
In the under-19 match at the MCG, Geelong 22-11, are leading Richmond 10 goals 7.
Well, not a good day thus far for the Tigers, as that shot at goal, 1-pointer. 23-11 to 10-12. Big win to the Saints after their 2 last home and away losses. Some thought perhaps they were faltering at the wrong time of the season, but they have certainly struck back very strongly today. 23-12.
Well, that was Malcolm Smith who took that mark. Had a shot for goal. He is not a good kicker of football, though, and just offline.
So you should have brought it in more to the centre, don't you think, Peter?
Or else, yes, either centred it or run out onto his left boot and hooked it in, opened up the goals a little bit. But oh, there's a good mark. That's taken by Manton, in fact. And he's a player who's impressed Don during this match, and as to his improvement from earlier in the year. And he has to go behind his mark, said the umpire. He's looking for the hand pass to Poole, or is it Bain? Bain, in fact, it was. Down towards centre half forward. Over the back of the pack was Muggerman, trying to get away with it. But coming through for the Saints now is Michael Roberts. He gets a hand pass in wide, looking out there for Paul Tomei. Coming in is Smith again. Back to Booth. Booth is looking for the hand pass to Marsden. He's caught. Back it comes to Booth. Left foot by Booth. Up towards full forward and Scott over the line and out of bounds on the full. At the moment, the Saints doing as they like, well in front. The game well won. Oh, dangerous hand pass. Folletic cops it high. What will the umpire play? I think he's saying it was too high. And Milan Folletic is only 20 metres out, almost directly in front. He has already kicked 3 goals and a chance for goal number 4.
The Saints currently lead by 13 goals, 78 points. Folletic normally pretty reliable in front of goal. Now makes it 84 points, the margin, with his 4th goal. And the Saints charge to 24-12, 156. Richmond at 10-12, 72. Saints to qualify. And, of course, the big elimination final on 7 tomorrow afternoon following World of Sport from the Lake Oval.
Well, I'm just looking in the football record here. Milan Folletic is 28 years of age, so there must be some doubt, Sandy, about Milan settling up with the Saints next year.
No, that's yes, you're right, I should say, Peter, because I have heard a report that there is a possibility he could return to Port Adelaide from whence he came. Also, another interesting headline that was raging around South Australia over the past 2 days was Malcolm Blight to coach South Adelaide.
Well, I think North Melbourne would have a say about that. I reckon Malcolm could play another 3 or 4 years of league football if he wished to, and I think that North would hate to lose him as Colling gets it down to Folletic. Folletic drops a sitter. He's dropped a few easy marks today, but Malcolm Smith is in there to lend a hand. He was looking for his teammate Marsden. Now the hand pass comes, as far as Richmond are concerned, back towards Muggerman. Muggerman breaks away from half-back and gives it across to Ross. Ross is on centre wing. He has a bounce. Now another one. He's got a paddock to run in, but elects to kick it now down towards half forward, but the mark is taken down there for the Saints by Parker. Parker kicks towards the centre of the ground. He's got 2. In fact, he had 3 or 4 players to give it to. Back it comes to Kellett. Kellett with a hand pass further afield towards Favier. Favier back to Kellett. Oh, Kellett shoves Bain in the face. Gets on the left foot and kicks it up towards half forward. Oh, 2 bad misses by the Richmond side up there. It's Terry Smith, though, atoning for that bad miss, and he finds Frankie Bain on half-back flank. Over it goes to Mead, and Mead breaks away and kicks towards half-forward. Matthew Wall is behind, but chipping in front was Bruce Tempany. He breaks away. Fiddler, oh, good tackle by Fiddler. Just put him off enough to make the kick a poor one. Up to Brewer. Brewer on half-forward. Caught. Back it comes towards the big fellow in Loritz. Loritz on the left foot. Hooks it back towards Favier of St Kilda. Kicked off the ground. Comes down towards the half-back line, and the kick by Gary Colling up towards half-back flank.
It's got an interesting stat on Mark Scott, who in the seniors has kicked 45 goals. In the seconds up until today had kicked 44. He's kicked 8 today, so his yearly tally at the moment standing at 97 goals. So a very good performance by Scott, as Simon Meehan comes away looking for Michael Roberts, finding him, and Michael certainly played on.
No, I don't think the way he went on then, I don't think he saw his opponent coming. I think he thought he was pretty clear.
Well, ping for holding the ball, naturally enough. Pearson in towards the pocket, and he finds Brewer, who, as Peter McKenna has said, has been very, very quiet since quarter time. He kicked 3 goals in the first term, and what's he done since then? Kevin, 7 kicks for the day. Drop punt that is offline and 1 point only. So at the 31-minute mark of this final term, St Kilda a 24-12, 156. Richmond a 10-13, 73 as Brown brings the ball back into play, finding Hassel short. The big fella lumbers away and goes onto the left foot up towards the half back line. Shan was the man in front, and he is the one that's going to be paid.
Well, he's been Richmond's best player by a mile in my book. He's battled hard against overwhelming odds, and there's another bit of a tussle going on behind the play. A little bit. He's been in every little blue that's been on. Pearson's been at the bottom of the pack.
Not the tightest, but effective.
Wouldn't like to run into him on a dark night either. There's the kick from Shand right down towards full forward. Oh, everyone just stood and looked at it now, except for Booth, who was the only one to attack the ball then. He casually breaks away. Oh. He went to handball, then changed his mind halfway through and handballed in front of him. And there's Sarah appealing for the free kick, but umpire will have none of that, umpire Dargaville, and he'll bounce it almost in the centre of the ground. Booth against the big bloke for Richmond there in Manton. Hand pass comes from Marsden out wide towards Paul Tomei, I should say, up towards half forward. We'll get that right shortly. Michael Roberts. Oh, that was clever play. Left foot in towards goal. A beautiful kick by Michael Roberts, and that's another one on the board. Kick by Michael Roberts, and that's his fourth.
St Kilda 25-12, 162. Richmond 10-13, 73. So the Tigers, after giving North Melbourne a decent old thrashing last week to the tune of some 20 goals, are suffering an equally as humiliating defeat today.
And I think that after St Kilda's performance today, I think it'll take a very good side to beat them. Don, well, I'd like to get your opinion on that. It's in the Statewide Cup for this year.
Well, I think the only weakness I can see with St Kilda is in their ruck division. They're just not big enough, and they haven't been getting that many hit-outs, although their players really do contest. But otherwise, around the ground, they play extremely well. Yes,
I wouldn't be at all surprised if the Saints and Geelong fight out the final. And there is the siren. Sue's signalled St Kilda qualifying with a winning score of 25-12, 162. Richmond 10-13, 73. For a brief summary, Don Scott.
Well, it was an extremely interesting game, especially the first half, where you had Richmond in control the first quarter, then St Kilda the second quarter, and St Kilda maintained that control right throughout for the second half of the game. In fact, they just more or less went through the motions from half-time onwards. I was very impressed, and I gave the best player today to Mark Scott. Not the mere fact that he kicked a number of goals, but what he did with the ball and the way he contested, especially in the crucial stage. He started to get back to his old habit towards in the last quarter there of getting behind, but he really did bring players into the game and contribute a lot to St Kilda's victory.
Okay. Final score, St Kilda 25-12, 162. Richmond 10-13, 73. We'll take this break.
Rainbow-coloured chips, so yummy to eat. Arnott's new Rainbow Cookie Biscuits.
Now that we've found it, the Rainbow Connection, the lovers, the dreamers, and me.
Arnott's new Rainbow Cookie Biscuits make the Rainbow Connection.
We all know Melbourne's weather in winter. Wind, rain and grey skies. Now's the time to think about treating yourself to the unforgettable Travelland South Sea Sail Away. P&O's Oriana will help you escape for 16 magical days to places you've only dreamt about. And for Channel 7 viewers, your South Sea Sail Away is packed with pluses. A real plus is free shore excursions at the Bay of Islands, Auckland, Nuku'alofa, Vavou, Suva, Vila, and beautiful French Nomir. Your South Sea Sail Away includes free cocktails with the captain, plus a free flight to Sydney and return to join the Oriana, plus a passenger get-together before leaving Melbourne, plus Travelland passengers will also receive free this shoulder bag. All this from just $1,066. Book now at Travelland Myers Lonsdale Street store, plus these Travelland centres. Hurry! Travelland South Sea Sail Away is closing soon.
There are times when you've got stock that's got to be moved quickly, especially with a backlog after a holiday. Budget truck rentals are the solution. We have every truck you could want, from simple utilities to large prime movers, all at the rates you expect from Budget. What's more, we can supply most trucks almost immediately. Whether you need to supplement your fleet or get immediate replacements for breakdowns, Budget truck rentals drive your dollar further.
In an age when all others believed that only darkness and evil lay beyond their borders, a bold explorer dared to challenge the unknown. Had he not been captured, imprisoned, and tried for heresy, the world might never have known of his travels. His name.
Coming soon to 7, Marco Polo.
Just repeating those final scores in the qualifying final. St Kilda 25-12, accounting for Richmond 10-13. You mentioned, Don, that your $100 has gone to Mark Scott. A tremendous performance in front of goals for St Kilda. He finished with 8 goals to be their top scorer. Milan Faletic and Michael Roberts both finished with 4, as did Michael Nettlefold, while Richmond's main scorer was Ross Brewer with 3. But what about other good players, Don?
Well, I thought Michael Roberts' effort was good. He had in the vicinity of 25 kicks, but a lot of the kicks went high into the air, but at least he was underneath the packs getting the ball out. Graham Jelly, I was impressed with him. He's been unfortunate this year. He's had a lot of injury, and he came into the game as St Kilda got going too. But on the side, as far as Richmond are concerned, they've got to fill a back pocket position with regard to Stephen Perry being injured. And last week we mentioned about Daryl Sutton, who played extremely well. But today, I suppose, left a little bit to be desired. But really, Richmond couldn't look to any of those players, and I think you'd really have to dismiss today's effort as just an off day as far as Richmond are concerned, and maybe just elevate a couple of those players, you know, for injuries that have occurred as far as a senior team is concerned.
I think it was a very disappointing effort by the Richmond side. When you, as you said, Don, it was hard to pick their best players. The only one I could see was young Shand, who put in all day, but a lot of them just went right out of the game. But as far as St Kilda went too, Don, I thought that Tomei did a lot of good things, especially after half-time, and also little Simon Meehan. I really do believe that Meehan could be a very, very good VFL rover.
Yes, and I'd also like to include in that bracket young Fiddler. There's not much of him. He reminds